Hey guys, it's Matt. This video is simply a question to those who can comment, and if you could leave comments simply to address this issue, I would really appreciate it. Again, that is the purpose of this video. But I'm going to talk about some other issues on the back end, a more robust platform that who I'm working with, Rob, is working on, not just potentially podcasts, but potentially videos. And that he showed me some really interesting things recently because, again, how long will this channel be here? And then I want to talk a little bit about the last video, if you haven't seen it, about how the most real, even assuming anything is completely real, which I don't think it is, but the most real is your own personal reality bubble, in which I didn't mention is some people have emailed me, really then would be the heart center. And as it radiates out, it's almost like there's a series of bubble or layers of reality where when you get to the grandest level that's out closest to the screen, it becomes not real at all, or the least amount real. So talk about that, but the purpose of the comments, hopefully, the purpose of the video will be to simply ask you this question. And I thought, well, I could spend a ton of time researching this, but we'll know in the first 50 comments whether this is happening or not. And my premise, of course, let's just start with my premise. My premise is, and I'm walking on eggshells on how I need to say this. I don't want a banner ad below. I don't want somebody saying I shouldn't be talking about health. I mean, I walk on eggshells here more than anybody. So I'll be a little bit vague, but I have to be. I think I have to be. So have you seen any government or presentation from authority? Government, local, state government, federal, CDC, WHO, even like a giant university like Clemson University working with this doctor group, or Blue Cross and Blue Shield, any government or authority that basically is saying in any form, PDF, pamphlet, handouts, television ads, like where's all these ad council television ads that should be addressing this? Is it saying, hey, we're waiting and we hope eventually the action Jacksonation is coming soon and will be great and wonderful and will just, restore whatever. I mean, presenting the action Jacksonation as the golden god. Of course, the first part of the ad or pamphlet would say that, but this is the main point. This is where I'm going here. It would say, in the meantime, remember the most important thing besides distancing and whatever face coverings, your personal immune system. All right, your personal. We need to remind you that there are, most of these. It might say in the pamphlet or in the PDF or in the ad or the radio ad, but most of these. Hey, get enough sleep. Make sure you get enough vitamin C and natural fruits and vegetables. It doesn't matter how good or bad the advice. Have you seen an ad, a radio ad, a PDF, a pamphlet, where it focuses on the immune system, saying this is your strength? If you need to get in shape or do some walking, do some walking. Did you know that working out with weights increases the endorphins or whatever is a natural immune? If you don't overtrain, it's a natural immune response. The good feeling of the dopamine. Overtraining with hard, heavy weights and everything, that's an immune system squasher. I know that. You can, even some people, you can even get mono and things like that. But I shouldn't. Again, no, I'm not supposed to be talking about these sorts of things. I'll get slapped. So, have you seen anything where the focus of what's put out is, hey, do this, and this is the most important part until this comes and that comes and this comes. Your natural immune system. And I think almost everybody's going to say no. They're not addressing that. And the point is, doesn't that just gives everything away? That would give everything away, along with the fact that by now, or really by July or August, every single, if the presentation of this is what they say it is, every single major town, not just cities, every town would have a state or federal government sponsored center where you could go, if the presentation of it is what they say it is, you would be able to go and get free face coverings. They would have had that. Um, World War II was won. At least the German side was won in just under a year and a half. From the start to Japan was a little bit longer. I don't want to get into it. My next video tomorrow is about history, real or fake. It's a big. I hope I can get it out tomorrow. I've been working on it a long time, and it's mostly making fun of the presentation of history. So I don't want to go there for this, but you can, D-Day, all that, a year and a half. Well, it doesn't take months and months. I mean, they would, within 60 days, they would have a center in every major city saying, here's your clean, sanitary face coverings. They would be telling you that if you use them too much, it could build some sort of bacteria. And then around the back or a block away would be a hazmat center. Throw your old ones out here. So the fact that that doesn't exist, to me, gives a lot of whatever's going on here away. But that's not even the other one that would be a 1-2 punch to that in ever having a conversation with anybody would be, saying to them, with confidence, and we'll know from the commenters if what I'm saying here is accurate. We'll say they have no pamphlets, no radio ads, no internet ads, no click here, no Ad Council TV ads, no pamphlets from CDC, WHO, federal governments, whatever, Department of Health, State of Nebraska, Department of Health, State of California. Nothing addresses how you can overcome this with your immune system. Starting a PDF saying, hey, don't be scared. Realize that every year we have a flu season. This is a lot worse, and blah 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 blah. Whatever it would say in the ad, it would say most people don't get it. These people have good immune system. They get enough sleep. So I think most people would probably. My premise is probably accurate that most people are going, I haven't seen that. And if enough people in the comments say I haven't seen that, then it doesn't exist. And that would be easier than me doing all this research, checking with the Department of Health in every state or whatever. I mean, we have enough people here where if we all say, I haven't seen that, it doesn't exist. And doesn't that give the whole situation away if that doesn't exist? Because that's the first PDF you'd write in the first week. That along the lines of there'd be centers in every town that would give you sanitary for free. There's budget shortage. Well, then cancel Elon Musk. Cancel Elon's Musk if there's a budget shortage. No more hairnet supplies to the ISS, not until we get everybody safe down here. I mean, if the presentation was real, you know what I'm saying. So I'm dancing around and walking on eggshells. So guys, still collecting people's information via nohobocode.com, and Rob is the platform. His ideas or what he's shooting for much more robust than podcasts, and it's pretty amazing some of the stuff he showed me. So please, if you haven't, nohobocode.com, the link will be below. And if you haven't seen the last video, please check that out, because I'm still trying to come up with examples. Well, if you haven't seen the last video, let me just do 1 minute on the premise. The premise being, however real this place is, the most real is your immediate reality bubble, however far that extends out. With, actually, somebody emailed me the heart center probably being the center of the reality bubble, the heart. And that makes a lot of sense. And what comes into it, okay, this is real for the most part, no matter how much of an illusion or matrix you think this is. But as you go out farther and farther away from your heart center, your reality bubble, it breaks down, the presentation breaks down, or it's completely fake or complete fabrication or blurry. And I'm trying to come up with examples where something on the outer edge, which to me, I've always talked about like an IMAX screen that surrounds us, the screen animated by something. The minions come forth on the screen, try to get your attention, so you breathe real life back into it. You breathe real life and real reality back into it through consciousness of real spirited beings. So I'm trying to still come up with an example. Can anybody, secondarily in the comments, I guess, does anybody have an example where, Matt, this is the outer edge presented by the highest levels, the federal government or Hollywood or whatever, and it's just as real as what you would experience here. in your um, reality bubble. I haven't really thought for hours about it, but I thought recently about somebody should throw a dart, say air travel. Well, how's that not going to be the same? I'll tell you how it's not going to be the same, potentially. Air travel. Okay. Well, I don't know. Like, it's not just, I guess, bubbles out, but a smaller scale. You could do it that way. On the grandest of scales, on the federal level, all fake, faux, doesn't exist, or breakdown, fake. And then, but locally, you could say your local, your immediate reality bubble, or a local level, a local politician. That's not in your reality bubble, but you could do it that way too. Local, smaller scale, always more real. A local politician might have good intentions and want to, like I said in the video back, want to build that park or want the kids to have a place to go after school. They're not, you know, completely what evil or the way these people, appear to be, like Nancy Pelosi or whatever. And then you get to the federal level, just constant false information, corruption. What did Mike, is it Mike Pompeo or Mike, the Secretary of State, whatever he is, Pompeo or Pompeo, or he says, big speech, 3 or 4 days ago about how he said Al Qaeda is now, they found a new home. He said they found a new home. Iran is now sponsoring them. They've found a new home. And Afghanistan's not working out for them anymore, but then they found a new home, Iran, for Al Qaeda. What? I don't know what I can say, but it's like the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. I mean, it's all a fabrication to a certain degree, but it's just that they're not even the same sect of Islam. I mean, it's just a joke. It's almost like they have to make up what they're going to say at the podium, and they only have the 5 minutes before they take the podium to make it up. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's like so bad on purpose. And I don't even know what I can say, so I can't continue with that. And I don't even know why I was even mentioning that. I was talking about local to something local. A politician might actually have good intentions, and the corruption and the fakery gets worse as you go out. So then, but what do we have? Yeah, we have the out at the highest level, farthest away from your local bubble is the screen of a presentation of a Secretary of State. And it's so bad, they're just like making stuff up, saying Al Qaeda's found a home in Iran, just like the whatever happened with the targeting of General Soleimani and that nonsense. Just basically, it was just a story, just completely made up. Nothing about it was real. So, but I was saying air travel. Local, what in terms of, you can say, what, how does that air travel apply? Well, it's this reality breakdown of no crashes. I could do a whole video on this, so we should do this as a whole video, as a reality breakdown video. No crashes. How many flights, the last time I looked at it? Over 100 million without a major, at least, I mean, it might be 150 million without a major incident. For, I don't care what your excuse is, but the point of this, I don't want to stray too much. The point is, but you hear about small planes crashing, or people dying in small planes, or charter planes, or private planes. You hear that, see, that's closer, that's smaller scale. Maybe it's not quite closer to your own reality bubble, but it's smaller scale. It's just, even air travel at the highest. Well, Matt, people go on United Airlines and they fly. And yes, of course, but it still doesn't violate this principle. We don't have every ins and outs of metaphysical reality figured out, how everything works. We're barely scratching the surface. I'm sure you'd spend a lifetime and probably barely scratch the surface. But it's still, once you find a principle that tends to apply like this, you can, if it's successfully applied, or like you keep plugging in your axiom or your corollary, and it just works every single time, then you can really use that in figuring out a lot of things. So you can fly on United Airlines to Los Angeles or Hawaii. You can really do that, but it's the highest level. It's the grandest level. It's commercial, corporate flying. I don't think I see it as a complete reality breakdown. Hundred and some million flights without a major. Don't. And if anybody's saying, well, this plane, Matt, there was that issue in San Francisco or Southwest where somebody got sucked. I'm not talking about one little incident. I'm talking about a crap. Boom, 300 and some people. It just doesn't happen. It's not possible, in my opinion, in a real world. And anybody making excuses, and there aren't many people here making excuses, but anybody making excuses about, oh, safety is in protocols and computer systems now can fly the plane. It doesn't matter. You have a couple 100,000 pounds of metal going up in the air at any one time. There's another 10,000 things in the air, of which a mechanic has to maintain it. The mechanics and 10% of the people that have to maintain the airplanes are going to have some sort of they're going to have either a problem that day, a bad day, a hangover, drug addict, made a mistake, left a screwdriver in the turbofan. I don't know. There's never. I mean, there's just I don't know how many years now, and over 100 million flights without a major. It's just not possible, in my opinion. How many thousands and thousands of car accidents a day? So there's something there related to the nature of reality itself. I don't, anybody, not everybody's going to believe what I believe there, but you're never going to convince me. You can't send 300,000 pounds of metal up 120 million times in a row. Do you have any idea how big that number is? Without, it's metal in the air. It's not supposed to fly anyway. It's like, what is it, American Gods? The guy that played the bad guy in Deadwood. He plays like a Lucifer, a Satan character, but they never really say who it is. It's not. It's just in American Gods, and he's on a plane. I think he's trying to recruit somebody. I haven't watched too much of American Gods. It was very interesting, but I don't know, it wasn't great, so I kind of lost touch after 3 or 4 episodes. But he says, what you really think about is it actually the plane, and the dynamics of lift with the engines, the dynamics of lift on the wings, where air over the wing passes over the wing slower than air going under the wing. Is that really what's happening here? Or he says, or is it the belief of everybody on this plane of how safe air travel is and how effective it is? Is it their belief of everybody on this plane that's keeping it safe and keeping it in the air? I sit right in American Gods. And it could be both. There could be both. It could be, we've been told, how many times our whole lives have we been told how safe air travel is? Your first trip to Disney World, you're a little kid, you got a speech, I'm sure, from your mother, your father, or your grandparent, or this is so safe. It's 1,000 times safer than driving. We've been told that over and over and over and over again for a reason. Maybe it could be a Duke and Duke $1 bet. Make sure every parent tells their kids this over. We'll hear it you go to a TV show and there's William Shatner saying how safe flying is, and this movie is saying how safe flying is in passing, but it goes into your unconscious, your subconscious. It's like it could be a Duke and Duke $1 bet. We're going to tell them so many times that eventually consciousness will see to it that there's basically no accidents in 120. It might be more like 150 million flights. If you going back, you just can't remember the last big one. I remember like being at my dad's apartment it's like 79 or 82 or something. There was like a DC-9, like a TWA DC-9, where there was some major. You go, what? 80, 30 some years at least with. Okay, guys. Comment on that one if you want. We need to do a whole video on that one. I need to recrunch the numbers and the statistics. But remember, the first part is the main part. And if 10 people come forth and say, Matt, yeah, they did that. I saw a WHO release, and it absolutely was a whole section reminding people these are the 10 things that are best for your immune system. Then maybe they should have done it more. They should be running TV ads every day about that. But maybe we can't push the subject as hard as we'd like to if they had done these things. But I doubt people will cite where they've done it. And I'll believe you if you say you saw this or that. You don't need to do the link or anything. I'll believe you in the link. But I bet almost everybody's like, yeah, people will come forth in the comments and be like, I would have come across that. And no, they're not. They're not talking about immune system and doing it for yourself. Anyway, that gives the whole thing away, doesn't it? Thanks, guys.